So, boys, what do we make of this? Tim, you're the manager, you're managing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Look, we don't know the full details, but we certainly do know in the past that he's had timekeeping issues. Thomas Tuchel talked about it when he coached him at Borussia Dortmund, and it was the same issue at the North London derby, wasn't it, last season, March, when he was dropped to the bench and didn't even get on the pitch. What do you do with him now? Right decision to firstly take the captaincy off him?
Yeah, I think if he's a repeat offender here, isn't he? You know, it's not the first time he's done it. The young boys there, they've got a wonderful academy there. They're bringing the boys through, and the academy players, Smith Rowe, Saka, you know, they're their best players. You know, but they're the ones who are meant to be looking up to their skipper, whoever he is. I don't think they've had a good time with captains. Xhaka was the last one. You know, he starts throwing his armband down and.
Well, that's a great point. Do you know what? 'Cause I read something this morning, actually going all the way back to William Gallas.
Yeah.
They haven't had really successful captains for various reasons, for injuries, you know, for breaches of discipline. There's Cesc Fabregas, people, you know, who are out and then suddenly off to Barcelona. I mean, going back to sort of Tony Adams were the days where they last had a captain that they could rely on.
Well, when Mikel's gone in there, he's had an eye on the academy. He knew there was these good young players coming through, and there's still got a few there in the academy. It's very hot. But you need good types, good experienced pros. I always say that. I think your young kids are only as good as your experienced pros, and they've tried it with David Luiz and Willian. Didn't materialise to be good citizens, really. No, did okay. I think Luiz was probably better than Willian. But it's really difficult to find these types of characters, and I think Mikel's finding it difficult. He perhaps thought by giving Aubameyang the armband, he might show a little bit more responsibility and help with the group. I think Lacazette looks like he's possibly the better person out of all of them, and more influence on the younger group coming through. But you'd have to say he's done the right thing. I mean, he has to make a stand. He has to leave him out. I know a lot of managers who would turn a blind eye, but they would turn a blind eye possibly if the player was performing better than Aubameyang. He hasn't performed for a very long time now. And like I say, the best players at Arsenal are the academy boys.
Yeah. Take us inside a dressing room then, Glenn. What would that be like if your captain is being disciplined, and kind of what example that sets to the other players at the football club?
I think probably when you've got such a young, mouldable group of players and your captain's messing around for whatever reason, they feel as though it's their right for them to mess around. And you don't want that to filter down through your system. That filters down through the young lads in the first team into the academy. And it's not a good way to go. And Arsenal seem to be getting themselves into this situation of giving a certain type of player massive money, massive contract at the wrong end of their career. And then it all just goes south from that point.
I can hear the words Mesut Ozil coming out of your mouth, but you're not saying them,
Yeah, no, 100% Mesut Ozil.
But is he in danger of becoming the new... And look, we do have to balance it because we don't know the full details, but we do know the previous disciplinary. Is he in danger of fastly becoming the new Ozil at the Emirates?
Yes, without any doubt. That's what it's heading towards. Another big player getting towards the latter stages of his career on massive money, not producing the goods, top and bottom of it.
Yeah.
And I heard mumblings of him leaving in January, and I think that is the best thing.
But it's a massive contract, so someone's going to have to, someone's either going to have to match that money or still get a fee because he's got 2 years on his contract.
Even if you don't match the money, save yourself the next 2.5 years heartache because it's a lot more money if he hangs around.
He's within his rights to sit around and hang around,
yes, he is, definitely, without doubt he is.
Yeah, look, they would have learnt a lesson from Mesut.
Well, you thought they would have.
It wasn't easy. I mean, now they're in the same problem, but I think it festered with Ozil, and I don't think it will this time. I think they will try to address it. But like Glenn says, I mean, who wants him?
Yeah.
It's not easy to get rid of a player who's on £350,000 a week.
Yeah.
But you have to get him out your door and save yourself £100,000 possibly and get him out your dressing room and start afresh. Let someone subsidise part of his money. I think Arsenal need to do that, need to bite the bullet.
When you go back to the captaincy thing, does he ever look like a captain to you?
No.
Well, I mean, as a manager, would you have put him as your captain?
No. But from the outside, when I look in now, who is going to be the next one?
Well, Tierney is a good shout, isn't he? I know he's not been playing a lot and Nuno Tavares has been playing, but the Arsenal fans, I'm saying, I'm not one of those. I've certainly heard them saying Aaron Ramsdale, and I know you couldn't always make an argument for making a goalkeeper a captain. Dino Zoff did a good job of it, didn't he? Hugo Lloris has been doing it at Spurs for a while. Gabriel, we're talking fans' favourites, and Tierney.
Yeah.
But, we don't know their personalities. Arteta will see these guys every day on the training pitch, won't he? And make
absolutely. That's why he'll make his decision. And it's basically... That's the small part of it. It's actually throwing them onto the pitch and letting him captain on the pitch. I think Mikel has a structure where everyone sticks to it anyway. I don't think he allows the captain on the pitch. Sometimes if I see something on the pitch I wasn't happy with, I would change it and I wouldn't disregard what the manager said, let him have the argument later. But I would tell perhaps a winger to come inside and play in midfield, and I would address it. I don't think that's like that with a Mikel Arteta's
Well, you were a captain.
team.
What would you then, as a manager, look for in a captain, having been both of those?
Well,
You're almost looking for your own spy, aren't you, as well?
I don't think it's a spy. I think it's someone who's someone who knows what you want, philosophy-wise, and also someone that the players look up to. And then you have to be responsible. You have to lead by example. You might not be a loud person ranting and raving all the time, but I think you need to do the correct things.
Yeah.
And obviously, Pierre's not done it. He's not done the correct things. He's come out of line a few times, and Mikel's had to stamp down on him. Now they've got to move on now. They've got to try and get him out the football club. But like I say, it's easier said than done.
Well, just finally then, look, we need a 2-hour show today because we've got so many topics. But on Aubameyang, I heard Ray Parlour on the radio when I was driving in today saying what he needs to do is when they next have a meeting, say, look, I want an extra 5 minutes at the end of the meeting to stand up in front of the players and say that was out of order. I've lost the captaincy, but I'm going to do everything I can to get into this team and to get back to the goal-scoring form. He's only got 4 goals in 14 Premier League. The only sort of way he can come back at Arsenal, Glenn, Ray seems to think.
That speaks a lot about a character, and that you could only ask him that. I don't know him personally. Could I see him asking to stand in front of a group of younger men and apologise?
Your face is saying no.
No, I like I say, I don't know him personally, but I tend to think he wouldn't be the kind to sit back and sort of say sorry.
There you go. The moral of the story is there. Look, don't make your best player your captain just because you need to get him a new contract. And that's kind of what happened.
But you want a player that's a regular, a good player, and that produces on the field, but also leads well off it, don't you, Tim?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be one of your better players to be a captain. You can't have your right back who doesn't play your captain.
Yeah. Look, we've got to move on because one of the contenders for that captain's armband we're going to talk about next. Eyebrows were, of course, raised when Arsenal signed Aaron Ramsdale for £30 million in the summer. But who's laughing now? 7 clean sheets in 13 Premier League appearances this season, with their new number one proving the doubters wrong.
There were some question marks raised about the transfer in the first place, but you've overcome that entirely. I mean, was that ever in your mind at all?
Not really, because the only people I needed to impress or listen to was the staff here and my players, my teammates. So for me, people can have their opinions, and that's what life and football is about. And I don't need to worry myself too much about the outside noise. I just focus on what I need to do, and whatever their opinion, the coach's opinions are, they're the ones which matter.
Do you personally feel you've exceeded your ability this season at Arsenal? Because some of the saves you're making, and also your contribution overall, your distribution, it's breathtaking at times.
No, I don't think I've exceeded, but I'm definitely flourishing a lot more here, and I've still been making them sort of saves in the recent years, but it got a little bit overshadowed. Obviously, we weren't doing as well as a team. And I was probably having to make sort of 8 to 10 saves every game. So a few did slip through the cracks, but I'm doing really well at the moment, which I'm very pleased about, and just a base for me to excel at, and that's what the boss has said. We get given game plans, but that's not set in stone. And when I've got the ball personally, it's for me to sort of what my feeling is and what I need to do. So. To have that control and things like that, that's a good thing for me, and it's working.
He's having a great time, isn't he, at the Emirates, Aaron Ramsdale? And look, 7 clean sheets in 13 Premier League games since. Do you remember that Norwich match when Leno was out the team and suddenly Arteta just sort of ripped up the team sheet and put all the new boys in, and he hasn't looked back, Tim, since then, has he?
I think he's done brilliantly. I was one of those people scratching my head thinking, why have they, obviously got a limited amount of funds. Why are they spending so much on a goalkeeper who's been relegated 3 times already in his career?
There's a lot of people deleting tweets, a lot of Tottenham fans deleting tweets, and even Arsenal fans from back then.
I think he's done brilliant. Not only his shot saves, every goalkeeper makes saves, but I think he's dominated his penalty area. I remember they played at Turf Moor and he was brilliant. He was coming and taking crosses, taking pressure off his team. But he has got that. I talked earlier about a connection with the fans, which every fan likes someone who they can look at and think he's giving everything for the cause and he knows what we want. And he's been there such a short space of time, and the Arsenal fans love him. He's got a real great connection with them. It looks like there's a unit there, like the back four and Ramsdale. and they're a team within a team.
Yeah.
And they're quite enjoying keeping clean sheets. You know, they take pride in protecting their goal. And his distribution's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, we look at obviously Arteta's learnt from the best in Pep Guardiola.
I was about to say Edison. Is he not coaching him like Edison's coached it?
Yeah, but when Pep, what was Pep's first thing he ever did when he came into
Claudio
Man
Bravo.
City? Got rid of the England goalkeeper, and everyone was like thinking, how can he do that?
Yeah.
Get rid of Joe Hart. I mean, if anyone ever cemented into the team, it's got to be Joe Hart.
But Bravo
he
didn't
knew
work,
he
did it?
needed
He
something other than him, so he got rid of him. He got rid of him. Told he's very honest with him. Joe moved away. He's told that to Leno. I need someone else. You're not giving me what I want on the floor. I think the most important thing for a goalkeeper is to be able to catch it and be able to keep the ball out of the net.
Yeah.
But also, if you're going to play the Mikel Arteta way, you're going to need to play out from the back, and I think he's the best at it.
Yeah, well, a prime example of that was on Saturday. I was at the Emirates for this game. Southampton were brilliant the first 20 minutes. Arsenal were useless. And then this happened. This was Arsenal's first shot on target, right? There's 16 or 17 passes in this move. But look, Arsenal go all the way back here, Glenn, and it comes to Ramsdale here. And this is kind of, what you'd see with Manchester City and Edison. This is the way that the modern goalkeeper has to play, and what a move this is.
Yeah, the modern goalkeeper, it's so important they can play with his feet, because they like to use him as more of a third centre-back, as a middle centre-back when the two centre-backs split. So it's so important that he can get his foot on it, he can play it, he's got vision. And this is what we remember from the Arsene Wenger era. This is Arsenal of old. I mean, the way they've built that through the thirds, passed in the triangles, and eventually just ended up tapping it in the back of the net. I mean, this is Arsene Wenger's dream scenario here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it's a really interesting London derby, this one, isn't it? Because the race for four seems absolutely fascinating. Obviously, you've got the top three doing what they're doing. We all thought Manchester United would be in amongst those top 3 and 4 places. Not at the moment, but who knows under Ralph Rangnick what they can do. But West Ham, already beaten Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham in the Premier League this season. How do you see this one going from a West Ham performance coming across London? Can they make a statement?
No, they can. I mean, with real confidence. When I look at teams, and from a manager's point of view, I look at West Ham and I think, how many of them would keep me up at night? And I'd have to say, not many. I know what I'm going to get from that group of players. The signings he's made, Souček, Soufal, Declan Rice's emergence and improving all the time. Jarrod Bowen's been brilliant. He steps in. You've got Antonio. There's not many of that group there who are not men, who are not, even if they're young in age, I think they're men. I think they're led very well by now. I think it's a fantastic squad of players what Moyes has got. I think he's doing a tremendous job, and I think that they approach any game like they can win it. Like you say, they've took some big scalps already.
But they've lost points against Palace, Southampton, Brentford, Wolves and Brighton. And that's the concern, isn't it?
I think that going to the Emirates suits them tonight. They like a team to come onto them, to leave a little bit of space in behind. When you mention the teams that they haven't done well against, the lower teams in the Premier League, they're the teams that generally sit in and protect what they've got in a draw.
Yeah.
West Ham find that a little bit harder to break down, but when a team comes out and plays, they can get behind, they can get Antonio in. Cresswell's back tonight as well to add some delivery for him. So I expect West Ham to go to Arsenal and really test them.
It's been a while since we've seen a Mikel Antonio celebration. Don't put baby in the corner, dirty dancing with the cardboard cutout, etc., swimming down the line. But he hasn't scored since October. And we've said this, Tim, deja vu here. We've had this conversation over the last 3 years. They need backup for him. They thought they had that in Sebastian Haller. He's obviously gone on to Ajax. They need that depth, don't they, in January? Even if they're going to get Lingard, they need a striker as well.
Yes, they do. It seems to work that way. Souček last year, 10 goals. He's only got 2 this year. He really helped him with the goal-scoring burden.
Yeah.
No one seems to have taken that burden off Antonio's shoulders yet this season.
But is that because he was playing, he's now playing deeper? I don't know.
Yes, because I think Declan Rice is further forward, but he's not adding as many goals as Souček was. Cresswell's, they're missing his delivery for late arrivals into the box. But Antonio's actually on track to hit more than what he got last year.
Yeah.
So it's up to the others adding to him and helping him with that goal-scoring contribution.
Norwich, Southampton, Watford, the 3 games after Arsenal, Tim. That's a nice little run going into the festive period, isn't it?
Great run. I mean, they've jockeyed themselves into a really good position. No one expected, and I think they've overachieved. But now they're there, and with the squad that they've got, and come January, and I know its centre-back position is a problem at the moment. They've got some injuries to some important players, but why would you not give David Moyes your money? I think they've got the investment now. I think Tarkowski is a real possibility.
In a better position to get 4th than Arsenal, West Ham?
Very, very good
Not often
question.
we get Sherwood, is it?
Very good question. I think possibly if Arsenal... I just think Arsenal could put a run together. I think the consistency lets them down.
Yeah.
And I think when they lose a game, Arsenal, it hits them hard. And I think they lose 2 or 3, whereas West Ham can dust themselves down and know what they are. So I would say I'd just lean on the side of West Ham to finish above Arsenal this year.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying they'll finish 4th, because I think Man United might nick that position.
Yeah.
Or Tottenham.